don't even do the things that we're passionate about. So today, I did want to do some rap, but I bought the flash drive, and I was supposed to bring something else, so I'm not going to be rapping today, which I concentrate and practice hard for. But it's all right, because there's so many things that we can talk about. First off, rest in peace to Reese Taylor, who passed away December 28th, 2017. Now, Oprah recently in the Golden Globe speech referred to the women from the Me Too hashtag to Reese Taylor. And I don't know if you know who Reese Taylor is, because I really didn't. But as a young girl, when her mother died, she took on extra jobs to help take care of her siblings. And at the age of 24, coming home from a late church service, she was kidnapped at gunpoint by 7 white men, and she was forcibly raped in the woods. And they told her if she didn't sleep with them like she slept with her husband, that they was going to blow her brains out. Yeah, she survived. And she actually went to court twice. And no grand juries, even though they had evidence and 2 people admitted to the rape, they still couldn't charge the white men with any charges, and no charges was ever filed against them. They did give her a settlement, or offer her a settlement, for $600 for every white man that raped her.
$600?
$600 total. $100 for each one. That was the offered settlement that they offer her.
Wow. Jesus.
7 years later, they gave her an apology letter for not convicting the men. And I don't think that they could be compared to the women from the Way of Me, the actresses, to Reese Taylor, or Lena Baker from Georgia, who worked as a maid, who was raped by her employer daily. And then one day she just couldn't take it no more. You know when they say, we tired, I'm just tired. She got tired. She killed her employer. She was charged with capital punishment, capital murder. She was the only woman in Georgia history to be executed by electrocution in 1945. 50 years later, 2005, she was given a pardon. 50 years later. I mean, these black women should not be forgotten. So when I like to speak, because certain things that we don't even know about until they're already gone, and this is history that we should know. I think my parents protected me by not telling me black history because they didn't want me to be assassinated. But can you imagine getting beat to death for drinking out of a white-only water fountain? Can you imagine being beat, halfway killed, for eating at a white-only counter? February 1st, 1960, Ezell Blair, Joseph McNeil, David Richmond, and Franklin McLean, 4 students from North Carolina College, decided that they were no longer going to eat at the Woolworth or buy their food. Great, I'm still going to go. They were no longer going to buy their food from the Woolworth and go outside and eat it. They was going to eat at the white-only counter. Now this lasted for 175 days. July 25th, 1960 was when they finally gave in. It took 4 years later for them to pass the Civil Rights Act, where they could no longer discriminate, and they had to segregate in public places. Now these men were heroes, and their courage was unbearable, and we just don't know about them. We don't study about them, we don't hear about them. Why? Because they don't want us to know how great we are. And Dr. King had once said, it's okay to sit down at a white counter and eat your lunch, but you gotta have money to buy a burger. And he was right. So they want us to always remember Dr. King for his I Have a Dream speech, but they never mentioned Operation Breadbasket from 1962 to 1972. The Christian leadership was responsible for many jobs, for many successful boycotts of companies that would not hire blacks, but would sell products to us. Now, they shut down supermarkets by the dozen in one day. They really changed the face of how we've been treated and the development of our growth. And a lot of times we only hear about it as I Have a Dream speech, but never Operation Breadbasket. So that's very important, Now, when they talk about Rosa Parks in 1955, December 1st, she wasn't just tired from working all day, and she didn't want to give up her seat when she was arrested. She was also tired from August 28, 1955, from Emmett Till, when he was brutally murdered. We just seem to forget about our past and how easy it is for Donald Trump to say, what about due process? What about Emmett Till? What about the Central Park Five? What about Tulsa, where 300 black people were killed and 9,000 were left homeless from an allegation from saying that a black man assaulted a woman in the elevator, which wasn't even true. So I just like to bring up and share history. I don't get to talk to a lot of people, but I'm glad that I'm having the opportunity to speak to y'all now because this is what I enjoy doing. Now, do y'all remember the 4 kids from Chicago who kidnapped and abused the young Trump supporters? Anybody remember? No. The 4 kids from Chicago who kidnapped and abused the young Trump supporter who they said suffered from schizophrenia? They recorded live on Facebook? No? Well, they all came from a single family home. I have heard comments that they should be hung, no bail, serve life in jail. Now, we can talk about the real issue, but why even bother? Like the Black Lives mission statement has nothing to do with black fathers. Babies are being murdered, but we only marching when cops are shooting a target. Where's the outrage for the black Idaho football player who was raped by his teammates? The prosecutor declared it wasn't a sex crime or racially motivated. John Howard, charges included forcible penetration, sexual penetration by a foreign object. He was sentenced to 300 hours of probation, 300 hours of community service, and 3 years probation. Now just think, they want them teens from Chicago to get life. Now we know anybody who will record a kidnapping live on Facebook ain't mentally right. Now we can't blame it on hip hop because when it comes to politics, rappers are silent. The propaganda from the media is fueling the violence. The last 24 months we have record high climates. Challenge what they say, we owe it to our seeds. Since when it starts snowing at 42 degrees? Don't you think it's strange, countless heat waves followed by droughts of rain? I'm not a scientist, so I can't state for a fact that I know, but maybe they don't want our fruits and vegetables to grow. GMOs being banned in many countries, even the ones that are starving and hungry. That should say a lot. They want to keep us sick, paying to die. The economy is booming, that's an illusion. American spending is mainly on healthcare consuming. Urgent care is open up everywhere. California was the first state to force mandatory vaccinations. If Nicki and Cardi B is the topics of your conversation, then you can count me out this time like New Edition. Life is full of choices, I'm choosing not to listen. I was down on my luck to step away from prison. Silence became my friend and I gained back my vision. We have over $1 trillion in spending power, but it will never make a difference. Our psychological conditions created such a division, we just refuse to support black business. 97 years ago, we had Black Wall Street, and it wasn't the blacks who destroyed these black businesses and made us shop in white-only stores. Now, why would they do that? Because they were smart. This is why it's very important to teach your children how to play chess at a young age. I don't know if you heard this before, but we're in a constant war, and the enemy is not your neighbor who is also poor. And I quote, the greatest purveyor of violence in this world is our own government. Millions of soldiers lost their lives over lies. My father made it home from Vietnam and Korea 2 times. Was it luck or was it fate? walking on landmine, getting blown into pieces at 8. Then Carson called us immigrants, then retracted and said it was a mistake. Maybe it's referring to them books in them Texas classrooms, black water fountains, white-only bathrooms. July 1st, they was gonna release the level of lead in New Jersey classrooms. I was like, why wait 6 months? I knew the answer, I was just asking. Weekends with my queen, setting traps, crabbing. For every action, there's a reaction. When shit get real, it's a time to kill like Sam Jackson. When somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm telling them I'm great. But why the hell are you asking? Next thing you know, they ask for blow. Come and tell pro star dancing, you caught up in entrapments. Mayweather, LeBron, Jay-Z, Curry, all distractions. Then they pay house niggas like Steve Harvey to keep us laughing. Black girls go missing in D.C. The TV never took a minute to tell you what happened. But quick to spread propaganda and start spreading this on people with chemical gases. Do you think it's possible for our government to care? When they spray us 365 days out the year, the war was serious over the oil pipeline they want to install in a sovereign country. North Korea has 6 to 10 trillion in natural minerals. The reason for every war in America is identical. That's it.
All right.